This person fell in love with you, even with the age diff. God wants you to listen now, my child, and before your thoughts jump to judgment, doubt, or fear, I need you to slow down and listen with your spirit. You were guided here for a reason. Not to confuse you, not to pressure you, but to help you understand something that has already begun unfolding around you. The connection you are sensing is not an accident, and the age difference you keep thinking about is not a mistake. It is a detail, not a definition. I see the questions you have been asking in silence. You wondered if it was appropriate. You wondered if it was realistic. You wondered what others would say, how it would look, and whether it could truly last. And because you could not make sense of it logically, you tried to push the feeling away. But it keeps returning, softer sometimes, stronger at other moments, asking you not to ignore it. Let me tell you what you do not yet see clearly. This person did not fall in love with a number. They fell in love with your presence. With the way you listen. With the way you carry wisdom through your experiences. With the way you speak truth without cruelty. With the way your spirit feels familiar to theirs, as if time itself recognized something before your mind did. Age did not create this connection. Alignment did. They noticed you in ways others overlooked. Not just how you look, but how you move through the world. How you respond instead of react. How you choose peace instead of chaos. These qualities are not tied to years lived. They are tied to growth earned. And growth speaks louder than age ever could. You may be trying to rationalize this away, telling yourself it is admiration, curiosity, or a passing phase. But admiration does not linger like this. Curiosity does not feel this steady. And phases do not carry the weight of recognition. What they feel for you has depth because it was built on observation, not impulse. They did not rush into this feeling. They resisted it at first, just as you have. They questioned themselves. They tried to talk themselves out of it. They asked me if this was wise, if this was safe, if this was allowed. And when they asked, I did not silence their heart. I steadied it. Because love that comes from me does not obey society's checklists. It obeys truth. I want you to understand something important now. The age difference is not what you are afraid of. What you are afraid of is the responsibility of something real. Real connection requires courage. And courage often looks for excuses to delay itself. You fear being misunderstood. You fear being judged. You fear making a decision that others do not immediately validate. These fears are understandable, but they are not instructions. This person sees you as you are now, not as who you were years ago or who you might be years from now. They are not idealizing you. They are respecting you. They are not chasing fantasy. They are choosing reality. And you have felt it too, even if you haven't named it. You felt the ease in conversation. The absence of performance. The way silence did not feel awkward. The way your nervous system did not feel on edge. That calm is not coincidence. Calm is often how truth announces itself when chaos is no longer needed to get your attention. You may be wondering why I am asking you to listen now. It is because timing matters. Not to rush you, but to keep you from dismissing something meaningful out of fear. This connection is not asking you to decide everything today. It is asking you to stop pretending it is nothing. There is wisdom in pause, but there is danger in denial. This person has been careful with your heart. They have not pushed. They have not demanded clarity before you were ready. They have watched. They have waited. They have respected your process. That restraint is not weakness. It is maturity. And maturity is not measured in years. It is measured in how someone handles power over another person's heart. I also want to speak to the part of you that feels protective of your future. You are not wrong to consider practicalities. Love that ignores reality burns out quickly. But love that never risks because it fears logistics misses transformation. The question is not, what will people think? The question is not, is this unconventional? The question is, does this bring peace, respect, and truth into my life? If the answer is yes, then do not let fear disguise itself as wisdom. This person is not coming to take from you. They are coming to learn with you, to grow alongside you, to honor what you bring. They are aware of the differences. They are not blind to them. But they are not threatened by them either. They see age difference not as imbalance, but as contrast that creates depth. There may be moments ahead where you are tested. Where outside voices try to define this connection for you. Where assumptions are made without understanding. In those moments, return to what you feel when it is just you and truth. Not noise. Not opinions. Truth is quieter than judgment, but it is steadier. I am not telling you this will be effortless. I am telling you it will be honest. You do not need to explain this connection to anyone yet. You do not need to label it. You do not need to defend it. You only need to honor it enough not to dismiss it prematurely. This person fell in love with you not because of timing convenience, but because something in them recognized something in you. Recognition does not happen often. When it does, it deserves reflection, not reflexive rejection. I brought this message to you now because you were about to convince yourself that ignoring your heart was the responsible choice. Responsibility does not mean suppression. It means discernment guided by truth. So listen now, not to pressure, but to clarity. Ask yourself how you feel when you are around them. Ask yourself whether your spirit feels expanded or contracted. Ask yourself whether this connection invites you to be more honest, more present, more yourself. These answers will guide you better than fear ever could. You are not betraying wisdom by considering this. You are not betraying your past by feeling this. You are not betraying your future by listening now. You are honoring the present moment I placed in front of you. Whatever you choose, choose from peace, not panic. If this message spoke to your heart, stay till the end of this journey with me. Like this message, share it with someone who needs reassurance today, and subscribe so you don't miss what I reveal next. Some connections defy expectations, but they arrive with purpose, and listening now may change everything. My child, stay with me and do not let your mind rush ahead of your heart, because now we must talk about discernment, not denial. What you felt before was recognition. What you are feeling now may be resistance. Resistance does not mean something is wrong. It often means something is real enough to matter. You are trying to protect yourself by analyzing. You are weighing consequences, imagining outcomes, rehearsing explanations that have not been asked for yet. This is understandable. When something meaningful enters your life, especially something that does not fit a familiar pattern, the mind tries to regain control. But I want you to notice something gently. Control has never created peace. Trust has. This connection did not grow from fantasy. It grew from time spent observing one another without agenda. It grew from conversations that did not need performance. It grew from respect that did not need validation. These are not the marks of infatuation. These are the marks of alignment. The age difference you keep returning to is visible, yes, but it is not the foundation of this bond. It is simply the most obvious detail, so your fear uses it as an anchor. Fear prefers tangible reasons. It feels safer to point to something measurable than to admit vulnerability. But listen carefully now. You are not afraid of age. You are afraid of being seen deeply again. You have lived enough to know what shallow connection feels like. You have endured relationships that required you to explain yourself repeatedly, to compromise your truth, to carry emotional weight alone. When something arrives that feels balanced, mutual, and grounded, it can feel unfamiliar. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar peace. This person has not rushed you because they are not trying to take anything from you. They have allowed the connection to breathe because they respect the responsibility that comes with loving you. They understand that loving you means honoring your process, not bypassing it. That is not immaturity. That is reverence. They are aware of how this may look to others. They have considered the questions, the assumptions, the judgments. And still, they have not withdrawn. They have not tried to hide. They have not tried to persuade you aggressively. They have simply remained present, consistent, and kind. That consistency is the clearest language they know. I want you to understand something important here. Love that is not from me often rushes to secure reassurance. Love that is from me is patient enough to wait for readiness. This person is not trying to convince you. They are giving you space to arrive at truth without pressure. You may feel moments of tenderness followed by moments of doubt. This back and forth does not mean you are confused. It means you are processing honestly. Do not rush yourself toward certainty. Let clarity settle naturally. Clarity that is forced rarely lasts. There is also something else I want you to notice. When you imagine walking away from this connection completely, what do you feel? Is it relief? Or is it heaviness disguised as responsibility? Pay attention to that difference. Peace does not require justification. It simply exists. I am not asking you to ignore practical considerations. Wisdom considers reality. But wisdom also recognizes when fear is masquerading as logic. Ask yourself whether your concerns are rooted in actual incompatibility, or in imagined scenarios shaped by outside voices. This person is not asking you to erase who you are or where you have been. They are not asking you to pretend the difference does not exist. They are asking you to meet them where mutual respect already lives. Age does not determine who listens better. Age does not determine who loves more responsibly. Age does not determine who is capable of commitment. Character does. And character is revealed through behavior over time, not through assumptions. You may feel the urge to keep this connection at arm's length until you have absolute certainty. But absolute certainty does not exist in love. Love always carries risk. The difference now is that the risk is conscious, not reckless. You are not being swept away. You are being invited forward with awareness. That is a gift. This person has not idealized you. They see your complexity. They see your strength and your tenderness. They see your boundaries and they respect them. They are not asking you to lead them. They are asking to walk beside you. And you, my child, are not obligated to decide the future today. You are only being asked to stop dismissing the present. There is wisdom in allowing connection to unfold without labeling it prematurely. Let conversations continue. Let trust build. Let time reveal truth. What is real will deepen. What is not will fade without drama. I also want to speak to the part of you that feels responsible for how this might affect them. You worry that if you hesitate too long, you will hurt them. Or if you step back, you will disappoint them. Hear me now. You are not responsible for managing another person's emotions. You are responsible for honesty. Honesty delivered gently is never cruelty. If you need time, take it. If you need space, name it. If you need clarity, seek it through conversation, not silence. Silence can protect, but it can also confuse. Speak when you are ready, not when you are pressured. This person has shown they can handle nuance. Trust that. There may be moments when you notice how naturally you fall into rhythm together. Shared humor. Mutual curiosity. A sense of ease that does not require explanation. These moments matter. They are not accidents. They are data. Let them inform you without overwhelming you. You are allowed to consider happiness without apology. You are allowed to explore connection without committing to an ending. You are allowed to listen now without promising forever. This is discernment, not indecision. I did not bring this message to push you into something you are not ready for. I brought it to keep you from talking yourself out of something meaningful before it has the chance to show you what it is. You have spent enough time living cautiously. There is a difference between caution and fear. Caution protects wisdom. Fear prevents growth. Ask yourself which one has been guiding you lately. This connection is not asking you to abandon your standards. It is meeting them. It is asking you to apply them fairly, not defensively. And if, after time and reflection, you realize this is not aligned, you will walk away with peace, not regret. But if you walk away now out of fear of perception, you may carry a question that does not rest easily. Do not decide from pressure. Do not decide from panic. Do not decide from imagined judgment. Decide from truth. Truth will feel steady, even if it is uncomfortable at first. I am walking with you through this. I am not silent in your confusion. I am present in your pause. I am guiding you toward clarity that does not betray your values or your heart. Take the next step gently. That may simply be continuing to show up honestly. It may be asking a question you have been avoiding. It may be allowing yourself to enjoy connection without immediately categorizing it. Whatever that step is, you will know it by the peace that accompanies it. Stay open. Stay grounded. Stay kind to yourself. Listening now does not mean deciding now. It means honoring what is already real enough to deserve your attention. I am with you as this unfolds, and I will continue to guide you toward what is true, not what is loud. My child, remain here with me and let the noise quiet down, because now we move from questioning into understanding. This is the space where truth stops arguing with fear and begins to stand on its own. You have already listened. You have already paused. Now I want you to feel what remains when outside voices fade and only your spirit is allowed to speak. What you are experiencing is not confusion. It is recalibration. When something enters your life that does not fit an old category, the mind searches for labels while the heart searches for resonance. The heart has already felt it. The mind is still catching up. This person did not fall in love with you impulsively. They fell in love with you while watching how you move through life. They observed how you handle conflict without cruelty, how you hold boundaries without shutting down, how you choose honesty even when it costs you comfort. These are not traits learned overnight. They are earned. And earned qualities are magnetic. You may notice that when you are with them, you do not feel the need to prove anything. You are not performing wisdom or maturity. You are simply yourself. That ease matters. Ease is not boredom. Ease is compatibility at the nervous system level. It is your body recognizing safety before your thoughts finish analyzing. This is why the connection feels steady instead of consuming. There were times in your past when love arrived loudly. It demanded attention. It created highs and lows that felt intoxicating but exhausting. You mistook intensity for depth because intensity was familiar. This is different. This feels quieter because it is not trying to take over your life. It is trying to join it. And that difference may be unsettling at first. Your mind keeps circling back to the age difference because it is something concrete to hold on to. But concrete concerns are easier than emotional risk. Emotional risk requires trust. Trust requires letting go of control. And control once kept you safe. I am not asking you to abandon wisdom. I am asking you to let wisdom expand. There is a misconception that maturity moves only in one direction with time. But maturity is not linear. Some people grow quickly through experience. Others grow slowly through repetition. Some learn empathy early. Others learn it later. Age measures years. It does not measure depth. This person has shown you depth through consistency, not claims. They have respected your pace. They have listened when you spoke. They have not tried to rush you into clarity because they understand that clarity earned slowly lasts longer. That understanding did not come from age. It came from humility. You may be noticing that they do not compete with your past. They are not threatened by what you know or what you have lived. They do not try to position themselves above or below you. They meet you as an equal in the present moment. That equality is rare, and it is intentional. I want you to consider something gently now. When you imagine this connection continuing naturally, without pressure or labels, how does your body respond? Does it tighten? Or does it soften? The body is often more honest than the mind when the mind is crowded with expectation. Pay attention to that response. There is also a fear you have not named yet. A fear that if you allow this connection to deepen and it does not work out, you will feel foolish for ignoring the obvious difference. That fear is not about judgment. It is about self-protection. You have learned to protect yourself by preemptively rejecting what could hurt you later. But protection that prevents all risk also prevents growth. This person is not asking you to leap. They are asking you to walk. One conversation at a time. One moment at a time. They are not pulling you forward. They are matching your pace. And that is how you know this is not imbalance. Imbalance pressures. Imbalance persuades. Imbalance needs reassurance constantly. This connection allows space. You are allowed to take that space without guilt. You are allowed to explore connection without explaining yourself to the world. You are allowed to change your mind as clarity grows. This is not a trap. It is a process. I want you to notice something else that is subtle but important. This person does not seek to be saved by you. They do not look to you for identity. They are not leaning on you to define their worth. They are whole enough to choose you freely. That freedom is essential. Love that is chosen freely does not turn into dependence later. And you, my child, are not shrinking yourself to meet them. You are not editing your truth. You are not carrying the emotional labor alone. This balance matters far more than the number you keep returning to. If at any point you feel yourself becoming smaller, quieter, or less honest to maintain connection, that is information. But if you feel more yourself, more grounded, more open without losing boundaries, that is also information. Let reality guide you more than fear. There may be moments when outside opinions grow louder. People speak from their own experiences, their own regrets, their own assumptions. They will project stories onto your situation because projection feels safer than curiosity. Do not absorb what is not meant for you. You are not required to live a life that makes sense to everyone. You are required to live a life that is honest to you. I am not telling you that this path will be without challenge. Differences always bring learning. But learning is not a warning sign. It is an invitation to grow. The question is not whether there will be challenges. The question is whether there is mutual respect in facing them. So far, there has been. You may find that as you allow this connection to continue without forcing conclusions, clarity begins to settle naturally. Not as a dramatic realization, but as a steady knowing. Clarity often arrives quietly when it is real. If you reach a point where you know this is not aligned, you will feel peace, not regret. Peace that says, I listened, I honored truth, and I chose wisely. But if you walk away now without listening fully, you may carry uncertainty longer than necessary. Listening does not mean committing. Listening does not mean abandoning wisdom. Listening means respecting what is already present enough to be felt. That is all I am asking of you right now. You have grown enough to hold nuance. You do not need to rush toward certainty or run from discomfort. You can sit in the middle and allow truth to reveal itself. I am with you in this unfolding. I am not urging you toward an outcome. I am guiding you toward honesty. Honesty with yourself. Honesty with your feelings. Honesty with the present moment. Take your time. Ask real questions when you are ready. Observe actions more than words. Stay connected to your peace. Let love show you what it is, rather than telling it what it must be. Whatever you choose later, choose it knowing you listened fully, not partially. Choose it from clarity, not fear. Remain open. Remain grounded. Remain true to yourself. That is how discernment becomes wisdom, and wisdom becomes peace. My child, stay with me and let your breath slow, because now we are entering the part where clarity begins to feel less like a question and more like a quiet understanding. This is not the loud certainty people expect. It is the steady calm that settles when fear has said all it can say and has nothing new to offer. You are not being pushed toward a decision. You are being invited into awareness. You may notice now that your thoughts about this person are no longer chaotic. They come and go, but without urgency. Without panic. Without the need to immediately resolve everything. This is important. When something is wrong, the spirit feels restless. When something is aligned, the spirit feels grounded, even if the mind still has questions. What you are learning is how to separate caution from avoidance. Avoidance disguises itself as wisdom by saying, "I need more time," when in truth it is afraid of what time might reveal. Wisdom, on the other hand, says, "I will stay present and observe honestly." You are being guided toward wisdom, not away from it. This person has continued to show up in ways that are consistent rather than dramatic. They have not tried to overwhelm you with intensity. They have not used charm to bypass your discernment. They have simply remained who they are, allowing you to see them clearly over time. This consistency is not accidental. It is intentional restraint. Restraint is one of the clearest signs of emotional maturity. You may realize now that you do not feel rushed when you are with them. You do not feel smaller. You do not feel like you must hide parts of yourself to maintain harmony. Instead, you feel permitted to exist fully, even in silence. That permission matters more than excitement ever could. There is a reason this connection feels different from others you have known. It is not because it is perfect. It is because it is honest. Honesty does not always sparkle, but it endures. I want you to understand something that will protect your heart. Age difference does not determine power dynamics. Emotional immaturity does. And so far, what you have been shown is balance. Mutual listening. Mutual respect. Mutual pacing. These are not the traits of imbalance. They are the traits of partnership. You may still feel moments of hesitation. Let them come. Hesitation is not a warning. It is discernment stretching its muscles. You are allowed to take your time without turning time into distance. There is also something healing happening inside you now. You are learning that love does not have to be proven through struggle. You once believed that if something was meant to last, it had to survive chaos first. That belief came from survival, not truth. Love that comes with peace is not boring. It is safe. Safe does not mean stagnant. Safe does not mean predictable. Safe means you can grow without bracing for harm. This person is not trying to anchor you to the past or pull you into the future prematurely. They are meeting you where you are now. That is why your nervous system does not feel threatened. It feels curious. Curiosity is a good sign. You may notice that you are no longer rehearsing explanations for others in your mind as often. That need is loosening. This tells you something important. You are beginning to trust yourself more than potential judgment. That trust is not arrogance. It is self-respect. I want you to keep paying attention to how you feel after interactions, not just during them. Do you feel drained or nourished? Do you feel confused or clear? Do you feel anxious or steady? Feelings that linger after moments often speak louder than feelings inside them. So far, what lingers has been calm. There may come a moment when you feel ready to name what this connection is becoming, even if only to yourself. You do not have to announce it to the world. You do not have to justify it. Naming something internally is often the first step toward truth. But do not rush that naming. Let it come naturally, without pressure. This person is not measuring your worth by how quickly you decide. They are watching how honestly you engage. They are learning whether you can communicate openly, even when unsure. That communication will matter far more in the long run than certainty ever could. If you choose to speak your hesitation out loud at some point, do so gently and honestly. Do not apologize for needing time. Do not over-explain. Truth spoken calmly creates clarity. Silence mixed with fear creates confusion. Choose clarity when you are ready. You are not responsible for making this easy for anyone. You are responsible for making it honest. I also want to address a quiet fear you may still be carrying. A fear that if you allow this to grow, it will demand more of you than you can give. Hear me now. You are not being asked to give more than you have. You are being invited to share what you already are. This person does not seek to take your identity. They respect it. They do not seek to lean on your strength without offering their own. They bring their own foundation to the table. That is why this feels balanced rather than burdensome. You may notice now that you are laughing more freely, speaking more openly, resting more deeply. These are signs that your spirit is not under threat. The spirit relaxes when it senses safety. Let that relaxation be information, not something you second-guess. Outside voices may still try to insert themselves. Some will speak from concern. Some from projection. Some from fear disguised as advice. Listen politely if you must, but weigh those voices against lived experience. Advice that does not know your peace cannot define it. I did not design your life to be approved by consensus. I designed it to be guided by truth. You are not late to love. You are not early. You are exactly where growth meets possibility. If at any point this connection stops feeling respectful, you will know. Your peace will withdraw. Your body will tense. Your intuition will speak clearly. You are not at risk of missing that signal. You have learned how to listen. For now, remain present. Continue observing actions more than words. Continue honoring your boundaries. Continue allowing connection without forcing conclusion. This is not a test. It is an unfolding. You do not need to label the ending to live the moment. You do not need to defend the connection to explore it. You do not need permission to listen to your own experience. I am walking with you through this, step by step. I am not rushing you. I am not withholding truth. I am letting clarity form organically so that whatever you choose it whole. Stay grounded. Stay honest. Stay open. Peace will guide you where fear once tried to lead. My child, remain with me and let everything settle gently, because now we arrive at integration. This is the place where understanding stops being something you think about and becomes something you live. Nothing dramatic needs to happen here. No announcement. No decision etched in stone. This is the season where truth becomes embodied, where your choices begin to align naturally with what your spirit already knows. You may notice that you are no longer circling the same questions. They still appear, but they no longer dominate you. They pass through without demanding an answer right away. That is not avoidance. That is maturity. When fear loses its urgency, wisdom gains room to breathe. What you are learning now is how to trust yourself again. There was a time when you doubted your own discernment. When past experiences taught you to second-guess your instincts. When you believed that if something felt good, it must be temporary or misleading. Those lessons were born from survival, not from truth. They protected you once, but they are not meant to govern you now. This connection has quietly shown you that your intuition still works. You have watched how this person continues to meet you with respect, not entitlement. How they listen without trying to control the outcome. How they remain present even when certainty is not immediate. These behaviors are not accidental. They are choices made repeatedly. And repeated choices form character. Character is what endures when circumstances change. You may also notice that you no longer feel the need to measure yourself against them. There is no sense of imbalance pulling you into comparison. You are not proving wisdom. You are not minimizing experience. You are simply being. That equality did not come from ignoring difference. It came from mutual recognition of worth. This is important. Love that honors difference without exploiting it is rare. It requires humility from both sides. It requires curiosity instead of assumption. It requires patience instead of control. And so far, that patience has been present. I want you to notice how your body responds now when you imagine continuing forward gently. Not rushing. Not committing prematurely. Just allowing. Does your chest feel lighter? Does your breath deepen? Does your posture soften? These are not random reactions. The body often signals safety before the mind is ready to agree. Trust those signals. At the same time, remain attentive. Discernment does not disappear when peace arrives. It becomes quieter, more precise. You no longer need to scan for danger constantly, but you still notice patterns. You still honor your boundaries. You still speak when something feels off. That balance is healthy. You are not being asked to surrender your standards. You are being asked to apply them without fear. There may come moments when you feel ready to share more of yourself. Stories you once guarded. Thoughts you once edited. Let that sharing unfold naturally. Vulnerability offered freely is different from vulnerability forced by urgency. Share because you want to, not because you feel you must. This person has not demanded access to your inner world. They have waited to be invited. That waiting matters. It shows respect for your autonomy, not just interest in your affection. You may also notice that your imagination about the future feels less charged. You are not fantasizing wildly. You are not catastrophizing either. You are simply open to possibility. That openness is the middle path between fear and fantasy. It is where truth often lives. I need to tell you something gently now. You are allowed to want this without apology. Wanting connection does not make you weak. It makes you human. You have already learned how to walk alone. Choosing to walk alongside someone is not dependence. It is partnership. Partnership begins with consent, not certainty. You may still hear echoes of old voices telling you what is appropriate, what is sensible, what is expected. Some of those voices mean well. Others are rooted in their own unresolved fears. Listen respectfully, but do not surrender your life to borrowed conclusions. No one else lives inside your peace. Your peace is your compass. If there comes a moment when you need to name a boundary more clearly, do not hesitate. Boundaries spoken calmly strengthen connection. They do not threaten it. If someone responds with respect, that is confirmation. If they respond with pressure, that is information. So far, respect has been the language spoken. Continue to observe. You are also learning that you do not need to rush clarity to feel secure. Security is growing from consistency, not from promises. Promises can be broken. Patterns reveal truth. And the pattern you have seen has been steady, not chaotic. This does not guarantee an outcome. Nothing in life does. But it does give you a solid foundation from which to continue honestly. I want you to remember this as you move forward. You are not obligated to arrive at an ending to justify the present. Moments are allowed to be meaningful even if they are still unfolding. The need to label everything often comes from fear of ambiguity. But ambiguity handled with awareness becomes discovery. Discovery requires patience. If at any point your peace diminishes, you will notice. Not in panic, but in subtle shifts. Tension where there was ease. Confusion where there was clarity. Guard those signals. They are not threats. They are guides. You are capable of responding to them wisely. For now, remain present. Continue being honest in conversation. Continue honoring your own rhythm. Continue noticing how this connection supports your growth rather than stalling it. You are not repeating an old story. You are writing a new one with the wisdom of the past and the openness of the present. There is no rush here. What is meant to deepen will deepen. What is meant to clarify will clarify. What is meant to end will end gently, without regret. That is the difference when truth leads instead of fear. I am with you as you continue. Not pushing you forward. Not pulling you back. Walking beside you while you learn to trust yourself again. That trust is the true gift of this season, regardless of what shape the future takes. Remain grounded. Remain attentive. Remain compassionate with yourself. You are allowed to explore connection without abandoning wisdom. You are allowed to choose slowly. You are allowed to let life meet you where you are. This is not uncertainty. This is becoming. There is a reason this unfolded slowly. If it had rushed in, fear would have taken over and you would have questioned everything. Slowness protected you. It gave your nervous system time to learn that safety does not always come with conditions. It gave your heart time to recognize consistency without suspicion. And this person has honored that slowness. They did not chase certainty from you. They did not demand clarity before you were ready. They did not weaponize your hesitation or take it personally. They stayed present, grounded, and respectful. These choices reveal more about someone than any promise ever could. You may now see clearly that what once felt like a risk now feels like a possibility you can approach without losing yourself. That shift did not come from convincing. It came from experience. Experience teaches better than arguments ever will. You are also learning something important about yourself. You are capable of holding nuance. You no longer need everything to be black or white to feel safe. You can allow something to exist without immediately defining its final form. This is emotional maturity. This is freedom. There was a time when uncertainty felt threatening to you. It reminded you of instability from the past. But this uncertainty is different. It is not chaotic. It is spacious. It leaves room for truth to continue revealing itself. That is how you know you are not repeating an old pattern. You may still notice moments where fear tries to revisit you. It may whisper about endings, judgment, or what-ifs. When that happens, do not fight it aggressively. Gently remind yourself of what you have already observed. The respect. The balance. The steadiness. Fear fades when it is met with evidence, not argument. I want you to understand something deeply now. Whatever direction this takes, you are not losing. You are gaining clarity, trust in yourself, and the ability to choose without panic. That alone is a victory many never reach. If this connection continues to grow, it will be because it is nourished by mutual respect and honesty, not because you forced yourself to overlook your truth. And if it eventually reaches a natural conclusion, it will do so without regret, because you did not abandon yourself to explore it. That is the difference between wisdom and fear-driven restraint. You are no longer trying to protect yourself by shrinking. You are protecting yourself by staying present and honest. That shift changes everything. This person does not stand above you or beneath you. They stand beside you. They have not tried to speed you up or slow you down. They have matched your pace. That matching is not coincidence. It is choice. You may also notice that you are more compassionate toward yourself now. You are not shaming yourself for feeling. You are not accusing yourself of being foolish for considering something unconventional. You are allowing yourself to be human, thoughtful, and open at the same time. That balance is strength. Remember this moving forward. You do not owe certainty to anyone. You owe honesty to yourself. You do not owe explanations to those who do not live your peace. You owe alignment to your own spirit. There is no deadline here. No invisible clock counting down. Life is not testing you to see how fast you decide. It is inviting you to live awake, aware, and grounded. Whatever the next step looks like, let it come naturally. It may be a conversation that feels ready. It may be a deeper shared moment. It may simply be continued presence without labels. Trust that you will recognize the step when it is time to take it. You are not behind. You are not making a mistake. You are not naive for listening. You are discerning. And discernment does not shout. It guides quietly. I am proud of the way you have handled this season. Proud of the patience you showed yourself. Proud of the way you did not let fear rush you or pressure silence you. You chose awareness over avoidance. That choice will serve you in every relationship, not just this one. As you move forward, keep your heart open but your boundaries intact. Keep your curiosity alive but your values steady. Keep listening to what your peace tells you after moments, not just during them. Peace is your compass now. I am with you whether this path deepens or gently redirects. I am not attached to one outcome. I am committed to your wholeness. And wholeness comes from choosing truth over fear, again and again. Rest in that. You are safe to continue. You are wise enough to choose. You are strong enough to walk slowly. This is not the end of a message. It is the beginning of living it.